Welcome back, everybody. As you probably guessed from the title of the video, this is the optic that we're going over today. This is the brand new, as of when I'm recording this, it was just released publicly, I think 2 days ago, Vortex SPARC Solar. And as the name indicates, obviously it does have a solar panel on top, and battery life is definitely going to be one of the selling points for this optic. So they advertise it as having up to 150,000 hours of battery life. Now, currently, in the market in 2021, most of your red dot optics that are going to have long battery life are going to be 50,000 hour rated, and this one is rated for triple that, and there's a few reasons for that. One of them, of course, is going to be that solar panel. Now, what does the solar panel do? When you're shooting, or really when you're anywhere where there's enough ambient light to power the optic, it switches off the battery function, and the battery is no longer having a draw taken from it to illuminate the dot in there, and it's only going to go through the solar. When it's in conditions like this where it's not bright at all, the battery is going to take over. So that's one of the ways it gets that battery life. However, it does it in conjunction with another system that is internal to the optic itself, which is an auto on, auto off mode. So after 14 hours of use, it will shut down. However, as soon as you pick it up, it has a motion activated shake awake, if you will. It's not shake awake, don't call it that. They call it something else, but essentially that's what it is. As soon as you move it, even a little bit, like a millimeter, it comes back on immediately. Now you can program that out. I know there's some folks that don't like that feature. So if you want to program it out, you can do so. Just check out your manual. But let's get it up close and personal and see some of the details here of the optic beyond the battery life that I think we've already covered. Before we actually get into the details on the optic, I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, and today's video is sponsored by the folks at Sportsman's Guide. For people who are unfamiliar with them, they sell a ton of stuff: outdoor related gear, camping gear, military surplus, new production optics, new production firearms, all types of different things that most of the folks who watch this channel would be interested in. Of course, this video will be completely demonetized, so again, thanks to the folks at Sportsman's Guide for making it possible. During the intro, you saw me shooting this on my HK UMP40, and we had the low mount on there. However, it does come with both mounts that you guys have seen so far. It comes with this mount here, which is a lower 1/3 co-witness, as well as that low mount. That low mount is going to be good, obviously, for any kind of like Euro submachine guns or pistol caliber pistols, if you will. Additionally, AKs and any other gun where you're going to need a lower profile mounting system. It also does work with any of the aftermarket Aimpoint micro mounts out there, so it has the same configuration there. So there's tons of aftermarket mounts should you need it. However, I've had zero issues with the mounts so far. One thing I wanted to point out there is it does have these 3 different pieces here. So both of your cross screws to bolt it down, as well as this boss built into it, do engage with the 1913 rail. And that's nice. That's definitely something that a lot of even higher end red dot mounts don't have. Some of them just rely on that one piece there in the middle, but this actually utilizes all 3 to lock in nice and secure. Additionally, up in here in the optic itself, it actually has helicoils built into it. So again, a lot of high end micro red dots out there don't have that, and they just rely on the aluminum body, but those helicoils in there will prevent, or should prevent anyway, any type of stripping or anything like that of the screws when you're actually mounting it up and taking it off. Here on the side, we do have our plus and minus. So there's 12 different settings there in terms of the actual brightness. 2 of them, the first 2 obviously, are going to be night vision compatible. Then you have 10 that are compatible, of course, with daylight vision and don't necessarily need the use of optics with it. You guys can kind of see the dot in there. It's a little bit blurry, but one thing I'll roll in a photo just to point out is that this optic has almost no blue tint to it at all, which is really surprising given the battery life of it. So for folks who are new to optics, particularly red dot optics, one of the ways they get a better battery life is to add a little bit of blue tint to it, so that way it doesn't have to project as much intensity of the dot onto the front lens to actually make it visible to your eye. This one has almost no tint to it, and it still has an extremely high battery life, which is definitely very cool. You guys can see here we do have our lens covers. These are removable if you want to, and I honestly would remove them if I was going to use this long term, but you can go on there and protect your lenses if you want to. But as you guys see there, it comes right off. This is our battery compartment. It does take a CR2032 battery, and you'll note here that our windage and elevation are both 1 MOA adjustable. Some of the micro red dots out there will have half MOA adjustments. To me, is it a big deal? No. But some folks will kind of complain about that. Just know that going into it. One thing additionally to point out there as you're kind of looking at it is that it has a very sleek, low profile body. It's designed intentionally so that way it's not going to snag on anything should you be, you know, in close quarters or running it with full kit or something like that. It definitely is snag free all the way around, and our adjustments there for windage and elevation are actually recessed into the optic body itself. At this point in the video, I think we covered all the important features of the optic, sans a couple. So number one, no issues in terms of durability, blinking, flickering, anything like that. That 2 MOA dot is as crisp as any 2 MOA dot I've seen out there on the market. Like I said, very low tint in that regard. And the optic itself is relatively lightweight. With either of the mounts, it's just over 6 ounces. Without it, it's 5.9 ounces. I know a lot of AR guys are really big on weight, so there is that. The other important thing that we always have to mention is going to be price point. So for the budget red dot category, it's on the higher end, right? So I think the MSRP right now is like $309. Don't quote me on that. I probably should have looked it up before walking out to the dock, but I didn't. But I did look, and the cheapest I saw it to date is $279. So, you know, a lot of folks out there looking at something like this are going to also be looking at something like the Vortex Crossfire 2, which I also have, which is a very good budget red dot. It just kind of depends if the features, the caps, the solar capability, the auto on, auto off, the different mount, etc., if that is worth it to you in terms of an upgrade over something a little bit cheaper, or you know, if that in your mind this will compete with something higher end like an Aimpoint or any of the higher end red dots. I should also point out, just because folks will always ask, it is made in China, and the folks at Vortex did send it out for this review. Just full disclosure there, but you know, I have several Vortex red dots. I've never had an issue with one to date, and this one rode around in my truck for a little bit, got banged around. It has some scuffs on it, as you can see, but again, no issues, nothing bad to report. It's up to you guys at this point if it's something that you're interested in, but if you have any questions about it, anything like that, you can always post those down below in the comments section. However, if you have a question that you actually need answered, you shoot me a message over at my Facebook page. I do get back to everybody over there. Sometimes it takes me a little bit because there's hundreds of thousands of you, but I do see the messages over there versus other places that I post, YouTube, Parlor, etc. So there is that. If this goes on sale, it'll go up on my Facebook and Parlor pages as well for you guys to take advantage of. And that's pretty much it. If you're new here and you like this type of video, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And for those of you who are subscribed, just double check that, because lately a lot of folks have been getting unsubscribed for whatever reason. And that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for subscribing. And I look forward to seeing everybody in the next video.